and welcome to another edition of 7 Questions with. Our subject today, our guest is Kevin Callahan, the Monmouth University head football coach. And it's strange, and here we are heading into the final Saturday of March on what should be a sunny and 60-degree day, and a lot of people will be taking out their outdoor furniture for the spring. There'll be some people playing golf, some people maybe walking on the boardwalk. And Coach Callahan, for the 28th season, will step onto the field at Kessler Stadium, coaching a football game, and he'll be doing so in the month of March. So with that, I say, Coach, as always, it's a pleasure to talk with you. And how nice is it we're talking football?
It's outstanding. And, it's a pleasure to be on with you today, Kevin, as well. And, to play football in the month of March, to actually be looking forward and preparing for a game after such a long layoff, 476 days to be exact, is really exciting. Our team has a lot of energy right now. There's a buzz going through the locker room. We can't wait to get out on the field and actually play a football game. So fingers crossed that the next few days go well. And we're really looking forward to Saturday afternoon at 1:00.
How tough was it for you, your staff, and your players to prepare for your opener a couple of weeks ago, only to have it postponed just 2 or 3 days before it was to be played, and then have the same thing happen shortly after that for your second game?
It's difficult. It's difficult on both the staff and on the team, because a typical week in football, each day the anticipation builds and the preparation gets better and better and better, and you're fine tuning everything that you do. And it's all geared toward that game on the weekend. That's like the highlight of the week. And to be building to that highlight, to that crescendo, and then have it taken away from you at the last minute, it can be very disappointing. But I got to say this, our team has been incredibly resilient. Their approach each and every week is, let's just go out and get better every day. And we've just had to refocus our energies and reset our sights on a new target and on a new game. And we've done that 3 times now. So, but I really like where we are, and I can't wait to see what we look like when we get on the field this weekend.
You kind of stole my line. I was going to throw the 476 days. I went in this morning. I went in and I put the calendar, how many days in between. I wanted to throw that at you, but you were ready for it. So I'll ask you, how anxious is everyone for the opening kickoff against Charleston Southern on Saturday at 1:00 in West Long Branch?
We're very anxious, and I think, as I said earlier, there's so much energy, and that has to do with the excitement about playing a game, especially after this long layoff that we've talked about. And we've got a quality opponent coming in. Charleston Southern played a very close game with Kennesaw. It went down to, and they attempted an onside kick with 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the game, and had they gained possession of it, they would have had a chance to drive for the winning touchdown. So it's a team that we know is going to be a physical game. It always is when we play Charleston Southern. They have a game under their belts. Well, I see that as an advantage for them, because they've gone out and had an opportunity to see what they did well and maybe where they need to improve. And we've yet to have that chance. So, but regardless, it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll play anybody this week, and we can't wait to get on the field against them.
Yeah, in the category of great minds think alike, I was going to ask you, there's a football axiom, and I don't know if you buy into it, but the greatest improvement a team will make will be between week 1 game and week 2 game. So if there's any truth to that, then it's a big advantage for your opponent.
It is, and I happen to buy into that as well, because you spend so much time playing against yourself and scrimmaging and going against your own team, that it's hard to really get a gauge of how good you are on offense, how good you are on defense. And it's not until you play an outside opponent that you really get a true evaluation of what you are and who you are as a team. We haven't had that opportunity yet. So I think in that respect, there is an advantage for Charleston Southern. On the other hand, they've played a game. We've seen the 2021 version of Charleston Southern. The only version they've seen of Monmouth is 2019, and because that's the last time that we played. So there's a lot that they don't know about us and about this team that we have this year. But I guess there's things that we don't know about us either.
Yeah, so here's what we do know. You do have a veteran team coming back loaded with quality players who were contributors to what was the best season in Monmouth football history in 2019, when you won 11 games, went to the second round of the playoffs and won the Big South Conference. However, to a guy like me, the one spot we really don't know about is at quarterback. You lost Kenji Bahar, who had a great career at Monmouth. Max Smythe is a fifth-year senior, missed all of 2019, and I believe on Saturday will be making his first start. So what can you tell us about him?
Well, it will be his first start. It'll be really his first college football game where he'll play any significant time. And, Max, I guess he had the fortunate opportunity to play behind Kenji Bahar for all those years. And while he may not look at it as fortunate because he was backing somebody else up, I think he had the ability to learn. And what that brings to the table is Max has a very keen understanding of what we do offensively and the different concepts we're asking him to execute. And although he hasn't had to do them in a game, and that's important, he really has a good grasp of our offense. The other thing I think it's important to note, and you mentioned this, Kevin, is that we are a veteran team. Our entire offensive line returns, the tight end returns, our top 4 receivers return, a running back who did not play in 2019, but was 1,000-yard plus rusher in 2018 is back. So what we ask the quarterback to do probably won't have to be that much. It's not like we've got to say, hey, Max, go win the game for us. It's Max, use the weapons that you have and make good decisions, and we should be in a good spot.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for you, but having an experienced offensive line may even be more important than having an experienced quarterback.
I agree with that. And it's not only an experienced line, but it's a deep line. You've got, guys like Justin Zuba and AJ Ferris and Manny Christian and Charles James and Mo Shabana, Brian Syracuse. All those guys played significant time. And when we're all league performers back in 2019, like everybody else, it's been a while since they have played, but it's a very veteran group. It's an experienced group. It's a group that knows how to win. It's a group that's had success on the field. And it's a very smart group too.
You mentioned at running back, you graduate an All-American in Pete Guerrero, but boy, you have to be excited about having Juwan Fari back. Missed all of 2019. He was the freshman of the year prior to that. How has he looked so far in practice?
He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't lost a step. He's exciting. He's dynamic, and we're all really anxious to see him go out and play.
You've been at this game a long time, and did you ever imagine you would go through something like this? I mean, you've probably never had a gap in games in your entire life from the time you were playing in high school than you do now.
Well, never in a million years did I think we'd go through something like this, Kevin. And, it's important to note that even as a coaching staff and as a head coach, it's been a long time since we coached a game. And you've got to get yourself back into that mindset that you enter a game with, and when you're going to make decisions and clock management and all of those things that we haven't done in a long time. So, we're kind of going back and drilling ourselves as a coaching staff, saying, okay, remember what we have to do here now. How do we do this? And that's something that, it causes us to be a little bit anxious as well.
On a sunny 60-degree Saturday at Kessler, you would hope to have 3,000-4,000 people in the stands. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically 2 for every one of your players, and that's pretty much it. Now, does that change the game at all in any way from a coaching standpoint, or is that more for the players?
I think that's more for the players. It's not going to change our approach as a coaching staff to the game. The stands will be empty in a lot of ways. It'll feel maybe like a practice out there in the morning with not a lot of people around. But the focus is going to be on the opponent and what you have to do in all 3 phases of the game in order to succeed. And, you've got to lock into that mindset as a coaching staff. And I think our players, once we get going, that's where their minds will be as well.
And of course, the good news is I'm sure there'll be recreation of a game day atmosphere. There'll be music playing. And I understand you brought back the professional public address announcer. So, I mean, it'll feel like game day.
It'll feel like a game day. Yes, it will. It'll be March, but it'll feel like September.
Coach, I am really looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. It has just been too long. And the fact that it's not the way it was scripted, but you get to open at home on what looks like a beautiful day for football. Let's just hope it's a 4-game season and then maybe something after that. But let's hope we can script some great memories in 2021 spring like we did in the fall of 2019.
I couldn't agree with you more. We're certainly all looking forward to it, Kevin.
By the way, for those that want to watch it, ESPN Plus, right? Matt Harmon and Eddie Occhipinti, you can watch it there. They do a great job, and you can catch the game because, unfortunately, unless you've got a kid on the team, you're not getting into Kessler on Saturday. Coach, thanks so much. Look forward to see you Saturday. Let's stay healthy, all right?
You got it, Kev. Thanks.
7 Questions with Kevin Callahan, brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.